thank you for helping. You probably don't recommend non-duality as a way of getting rid of the ego's wish to dominate the world and vice versa. What's vice versa? The ego's wish to dominate the world's wish to dominate the ego. Sometimes it can be difficult dealing with people as in not knowing what to expect and the uncertainty about where life is headed. I've listened to many teachers, but sometimes this method can seem like an escape. It seems like I got hooked on non-duality from the first ever video I watched. Sometimes I wish I didn't know anything about spirituality. Who now knows how I would be different if I'd never heard of it? Well, thank you so much for your question, Bogda. I'm not sure actually if there's a question there. Actually, there isn't. Hello. But for your comments, if you've got a question, you can write it underneath. But if not, I would just comment on your comment, knowing that, like, whatever I say, you interpret it and you take from it whatever you want. Like, it's not like my comment is more right than your comment. Like, that's how you feel. So, dealing with people can be difficult. And I'm not an expert at that. I have difficulties dealing with people. I can lose my temper. I can get frustrated with people. I'm trying to learn to communicate better with people of what I want. I can freeze. I can please. When someone scares me, I can do all those games that everybody else does with humans. Just trying to think if I try to dominate them and like an example of that, but I just can't really think of it now. Like, it's part of being human, and that is complex. It is complex negotiating this world, and we're kind of in this weird time where all the old ways of being are changing, and we've got all these new ways of being. So, you know, if we lived 100 years ago, we'd have told how we were, what job we were to be, what our role was in society. And in some ways, we've moved away from that because that's not appropriate. But at least in some ways, it was more clear about the rules, the dynamics. And now, because everything's changing, we're learning this new way at a really rapid pace. And we're learning how to live with computers and virtually. There's so much happening. And there's also another element to us, this energetic element, which is never really acknowledged. That every time you meet someone, you're not just dealing with them on the mental, verbal, physical level, you're also dealing with them on the energetic level. So when you meet like the two energies, so say if this is your body and this is your body, you have like an energy field around you or something. And then the two energies are meeting as well. Then you've got the unconscious. So I agree with you, and I think so many people out there, that dealing with people is super complex, and especially in this rapid changing world. And the best thing that you can do for that is just becoming more conscious about what your games are. And if you do that with non-duality, the benefit about it is that you can be more honest with yourself, because when you see it's not you, it doesn't really matter. So if you have like an energy that comes up as dominance, like, it's not you. You're like a programmed animal. Like the tree, it's not the tree's fault if its roots grow so big it sucks all the nutrients out of the ground for all the other plants. It's not the tree's fault if it grows too tall and takes all the sunlight from the other plants. It's not the tree's fault if it breaks your patio. It's what it's programmed to do. And we as humans are like these evolving animals that have come from mammals, and most mammals social systems work on dominance and submission. Not all of them, but most have like leaders, and then everybody else is submissive and followers. So don't beat yourself up about it, man. It's about being, it's human. It's human. It's complex being human. Like, everyone wants to be this perfect version of themselves, and we can't be. We are programmed with this complex system. And so what's great about non-duality is that the more that you see it's not you, the more that you can see like your traumas, your difficulties, your patterns, your dominance, and just be really honest with yourself. And then the more that you see your issues on the human level, the more what will happen in your instrument is that you won't keep repeating them. Like, the habit will be to repeat them. But if you keep seeing that, like, you hit your head against the wall when you do certain things, then you will slowly begin to step away from it. But these are complex systems. So it's not like it's going to change like that. And there's nobody ever that's going to be the overriding figure that's right. So often in arguments or in political debates or whatever it is, we want to find out who's right and who's wrong. And it's way more complex than that. There isn't really a right or wrong in an argument. It's like two energies coming together, and there's like a chemical reaction that's like happening. And the more that we see that, the more that we can be honest. Like, so part of my process prior to waking up, I don't know if this could happen now. I think I could kill now, actually. Like, I don't say that as in like I could just go out and stab someone because I feel like it. I mean, like, if I was being attacked, I'm sure I could kill somebody in self-defense. And I'm sure if I saw something happening to Khaleesi or my friends or something, and the only way was to kill them, or there was just this very fast reaction, I don't think I could kill out of anger or something like this. But I know I could maybe do something with self-defense. Like, yeah, I've had some psycho things that I've done before, like jumping in front of the car when Khaleesi was in front of the car, like people, it's a little cuckoo, like my dog is standing in front of the car, and then like to save her, I throw myself in front of the car. That's really a little cuckoo. And I sometimes think, like, when I had some difficult situations in India before, and when I am attacked, if that's what you want to put, like, so if you've ever been attacked or anything like that, then you kind of learn your defenses. Like, my defense is to attack back. In daily living, it's not actually. Like, in daily living, I can like shout at people, but if somebody scares me, I often freeze. But in a really serious situation, like when I was in India and I had some difficult situation in a rickshaw with men and on the bike and stuff, like it wasn't very nice what happened, but they wanted to get me in the bushes. I actually was like, no way, and like really fought. I know I'm laughing, it was quite a long time ago. And so I think that in that way I could kill, but I don't think I could kill out of anger or premeditation or anything like that. But who knows? But before I had this shift, and this was really like such a profound like experience, was that I realized in me there was a rage which could kill. And I could see that put in the right circumstances, and I think everybody has this, like maybe not everybody, but most people, that deep down there was a rage that right circumstances, the right amount of powerlessness, the right amount of being snookered, a rage could come out that could kill or wanted to kill. But not really. I'm not saying I really wanted to kill, but like I could see that there was that potentiality there. And I could have only done that with realizing it's not me. Like, because otherwise to admit that and to get to the depth of like humanity, like that humanity's conditioning, I had to also see that I was beyond that, and that was something that's programmed in me. It wasn't something that I was doing. I wasn't really guilty of it. And that's the great thing about non-duality, is it gives you that possibility to explore all of this, to see all of these dynamics inside. I'm not saying that everybody has that now, effect that might have on people, but it's also really humbling as well, because when you see that in yourself, you're like, I can't judge anymore. I mean, obviously we all judge on some level, but I mean, like on a deeper level, I was like, how can you judge when you've seen something like that in yourself? Like you understand how everybody does something, like these terrible acts, and how everybody does little terrible acts. You know, like passive aggression or stealing or cheating or whatever it is that you do. It's like total forgiveness in a way. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the deep knowing that that's not who I am. The character is not me. The character is a happening. It's a happening. And I used to have this story as well, Bogdan. I used to have non-duality from the first ever I was hooked. And I think there's something beautiful in that, in being hooked. Yes, I'm sure you use it for avoidance because that's what the personality structure seeking energy does. It's like always wanting to be at peace, really. And so it uses anything which it thinks can make it more peaceful, whether it be heroin, sugar, non-duality, meditation. It wants to be at peace. So there's nothing wrong with that, but also I think the hooking is there's a knowing of a deep truth in that, which is really beautiful. It's not like with drugs where there is no deep truth in it, or with sugar there is no deep truth in it. There is a deep truth in non-duality. That is really beautiful. But I used to get this story. Sometimes I wish I didn't know anything about spirituality. Who knows how I would be different if I hadn't heard of it. And I used to have that story. And it's totally not true. It's just a regret thought. You're just regretting something you did in the past, which doesn't exist. So it's regret energy. And if you weren't regretting this, getting into this, you'd have got into something else and regretted that. It's just thoughts and stories that are appearing. And then there's this energy that latches onto it and believes it's true. There's nothing wrong with the appearance of it in the moment, as long as there's a knowing that that isn't true. It's when that it appears and then something holds onto it and feels like, yeah, that is my reality. That is who I am. It's not who you are. It's not your truth. It's just a feeling appearing of regret, and then your mind hooks onto a story. And I used to have that as well. Like, I was very young when I got into this. Maybe you're young as well. And all my friends, like, I just couldn't play the game that they played anymore, and see all my friends partying or doing all these things. And it was like the bubble had been popped, and sometimes I wished being able to go back and blow the bubble back up and just go out and get drunk and do meaningless things. So who are you beyond all of that? That's so beautiful. Thank you.